Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on August the 10th, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar today. So before we get into Tuesday's news event, so for today, we did see Fed. We saw basically there were, first of all, positive jobs data came up. This was way better than expected. That's positive for the US. But then we also have the Fed member speaking here, the vice chairman spoke, and he said that, or one of the comments was that perhaps we should look into tapering soon and look at interest rate hikes. So that was bullish for the US dollar. So that was one. And another thing that we are seeing, we saw commodity currencies drop. And part of that is about the new Delta variant. So number of cases are going up in the Asian countries and also in the US. The numbers were quite high relative to what we have seen over the recent weeks here. So there was a considerable jump, and that's causing some of the concerns in regards to the economic recovery. So that's overall what's going on currently. With keeping that in mind, coming up here on Tuesday, actually before that, we have business confidence numbers for Australia here. Now, Australia is one of the countries that is back in lockdown. So if we see the numbers are dropping, then that will be a concern here. The business confidence numbers, if they drop, we're likely to see Australian dollar drop as a result of that. And then on Tuesday, we have ZEW economic sentiment numbers. So we'll keep an eye on that with the euro here. So there's a bit of a divergence in terms of at least what they are seeing between Fed and ECB. ECB not ready to raise rates just yet. And with the Fed here, we are seeing sort of a mixed commentary. We keep hearing some of the members saying, there should be interest rate hikes, or we'll start talking about tapering soon. Others not quite agreeing to that. So if that divergence, if we hear more people start talking about raising rates or potentially raising rates and tapering, that there can be a big divergence created. So we'll keep an eye on that between US and Euro. But anyways, these numbers, if they come in positive or higher than expected, that would be good for Euro. Otherwise, we're likely to see the Euro drop here. So that's the main thing. And then we have consumer sentiment numbers here from Australia in the evening. But that's pretty much the main numbers here for the day. All right, so let's move on to our charts here. All right, so we'll start off as usual with euro dollar here. So euro has finally managed to get through the support level. Price had been struggling here. It had been trading in this range for quite some time, and now price has gone through that support level. So this is now we're looking for a continuation. So we may get a bit of a pullback towards 1.1750 and then looking for a continuation lower here. In terms of our targets, let's take a look. The first is 1.1700, which is our the next major support resistance level. This is the level where price has just struggled previously. And then also in 2020, this is the level where it bounced off several times. So we'll keep this in mind. This is an important support resistance level. So 1.1700 is the first one. And then we have 1.1600. So bearish bias here for euro dollar. Pound here, pound also dropped through that support level. This one had also been trading in a range. So this one, finally, we are out of that range. Price has rejected. So we have a double top here, and now it looks like it wants to move lower. So we're looking for a drop. Now we do have Bank of England monetary policy statement coming up, and they have been more on the bullish side as well. So we'll see how that goes, but that's not till later. So for tomorrow here, our bias is to the downside, bearish bias. In terms of the targets here, the first target is 1.3800. And then below that, we are looking at, so 1.3800 and 1.3750. So bearish bias here for pound dollar as well. So looking for a retest of that support, now looking for it to turn into resistance, and then a continuation move to the downside. 1.38 and 1.3750 are the two targets. Aussie dollar here, Aussie also rejected the top of the range, and now we're looking for a continuation towards the bottom of the range. We have a nice bearish candle close. So target is 0.7285. So bearish bias here for Aussie dollar as well. New Zealand dollar, this one also looking bearish here. Next target is 0.6960. So bearish bias, looking for price to drop back into the support here. And then if it continues, we're targeting basically the bottom of this big range that it has been trading in. And that is 0.6925. So bearish bias for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD here, this one is moving in the opposite direction. So price has bounced off of the support here, looking for it to go, excuse me, into the resistance here towards 1.2600. And then if it continues higher, we could look at 1.2650. So bullish bias here, but watch out for this resistance. It has struggled here previously, so we could see a turnaround, so watch out for that. But if it crosses over, once it crosses over, then essentially we have a lot of room to the upside. So for now, bias is bullish, target is 1.2600. All right, let's take a look at our commodities here. Crazy day for the commodities, a big flash drop here. It went all through our targets here as well, all the way into the support level. So currently, now it did bounce off, but bias is still to the downside. We may get a further pullback. However, it could get stuck here as well. We are right into the support resistance level, but it could give us a deeper pullback. So we'll watch out for that into 23.80. Something like this, and then a drop. So we'll watch out. There's that support resistance level. So bias is bearish here with caution, though. Very, very volatile market here. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. Part of the problem is the concerns that we are seeing with the Delta variant. And that seems to be impacting the currency. So Australia, New Zealand dollar, or New Zealand, both of these countries, especially vulnerable to that. We have, or we've seen lockdowns in those countries. So we'll keep an eye on it. But with the commodity countries being impacted, commodities here are being impacted as well. So we'll keep an eye. But right now, bearish bias with caution, though. This is way too volatile. Same thing for gold, $70 drop, which is not normal. We don't see such a big drop. Went right into the target that I thought it would take a few weeks for it to reach. Just dropped in one go. So right now, still bearish bias. However, watch out for pullbacks here. It could go something like this, and then it may do another try to the downside, but that's a large pin. So I'm expecting volatility in gold as well. So the target would be 1680. We may get a retest, but this one will have to be extra careful with as well. Now, oil as well. Oil dropped a fair bit. And again, the concerns are with the Delta virus, or sorry, Delta variant of the virus. And the concerns are that not as much, we won't see as much demand because of the variant, which could have a negative impact on the economy. So basically, that's why we are seeing this drop here. Right now, bias is neutral to bearish. We may get a retest at 65. We'll take a look and then a bounce back up towards the 70 level here. So neutral to bearish bias, but watch out for that rebound from there. Copper here, copper also negatively impacted just like other commodities. So bias is still bearish. I will look for retest of 4.2021 and then potentially lower into 4.15. So bearish bias for copper as well. Bitcoin's moving forward here. 46,550 is the target. And then next target is 48,500. So bullish bias. Be careful though, this is a big support resistance level that price is coming into. And we need to see a break of this, otherwise it could bounce off of this. So watch out, but bias is bullish. Next target, 48,500. S&P 500, not much of a move here. Now, if there are the concerns around monetary policy, tightening in the monetary policy, or if the comments continue to come up in regards to tightening of the monetary policy, which means cutting back on the money that is being sent into the market, that could be bearish, and we could see it will be bearish for the stock market. It's positive for the US dollar, and in that case, we could see a drop, so watch out for that. Bias is neutral here, and if it holds below 44.35, then we are looking for a drop towards 43.70. So neutral bias here for S&P 500. And with Nasdaq here as well, same thing. We did have a bullish candle close, but it's into the highs here. So I'd be careful with this one here as well. Now it may, excuse me, it may do a retest, but then it's not looking quite as strong. So I think some of the concerns, the risk concerns may come into play with the stock market. So we'll keep an eye on it. 15,000 is the target here. And then Dow Jones, this one as well, we have a slightly bearish candle close, not super bearish though, but we may see a move back towards the bottom of the range. 34,750 is the target here. So bearish bias for Dow Jones. Now DAX is right into resistance, and it has struggled here several times. Now we may see a move back down here. Oops, that's not a very straight line. We may see a move back. So in this case, first target is 15,650. And then we're looking for a move towards a lower part of that range price was stuck in for a while. So neutral bias here for DAX. And FTSE here, FTSE does look bullish. It's right into resistance though, so we do have to watch out. Next target here is 7160. So neutral to bullish bias, but if it fails to go through 7140, then this could turn around. It has been trading in a bit of a range over the last few days. So neutral to bullish bias here for FTSE. And then Nikkei here, Nikkei did go up. Now it's coming into resistance, but it has that bullishness to it. So we'll keep an eye on it here. 28,000 is the next target. But the current level that we are at, that could be problematic if it holds below 28,000, or sorry, 27,950, then we are looking for a move back down. So neutral to bullish bias, I would be careful with the bullishness just because of how close it is into resistance. If it holds below here, we are basically back into the range. It has been stuck in this range for a couple of weeks here, so it could continue lower. So keep that in mind. So neutral bias for now. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye for now.